Hey, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Today is Tuesday, October 29th, 2024. 1 week to go before the election. Hit that promo, Leo.
I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got my days free and my nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am.
Hi, everybody. Oh, thank you, Leo. So this is we're back, and Leo, our trusty sidekick, has posted. Leo's been running. He created a website for What's the Story with Maria, which is great. You can go right there, what's the story with Maria.com, and you can go directly to that. And all our shows are archived, or podcasts are archived, so you can go back and listen. There's 7 years of that, although Spotify and iHeartRadio. So you can see Leo's posted all the places you can listen to our podcast. Also, just to remind everybody that we are on What's the Story with Maria is on YouTube, and every single show. Now, this is show, I believe, 372, I believe. Yeah, episode 372. Right, Leo?
That's a lot of episodes, lady.
That really is. It's like 7 years, right, honey? 173, something like that. 7 years worth of shows. So that's the great news. We have very few that we've missed. One or two were one we had technical difficulties. One, I was in Italy, and Krista Piero and Silvana Mastrolia ran the show. So
Bobblegate,
we called it. That's right. So first of all, let's say hello to Danielle Alexandria Alchemy, our friend Danielle. She's Happy Tuesday, Maria and Leo. Leo is amazing connecting all of this. Yes, I agree. So Danielle is our friend. She's also a psychic, a spiritual medium, past life regression person. She does it all. Go to her website at DanielleAlexandriaAlchemy.com. You will not be disappointed. Danielle does incredible work. And you can also buy gift certificates. Christmas is just around the corner. Spirit animal readings. That's really fun too. I loved it. I have my spirit animal on my door right now. It's a black hawk. A black hawk. I had two spirit animals. A black hawk.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
Black hawk.
Hawk.
Hawk. What did you think I said?
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure.
No, Leo. And also a flamingo. So I see them all everywhere. I love it. The flamingo's the goofy Gemini side. Anyway, so yes, go and check out Danielle's AlexandriaAlchemy.com. Great stuff on her website. You won't be disappointed. And it is a wonderful gift to give for Christmas. Okay, so we have a lot going on. Now, Leo, speaking
we do.
Well, let's show off our T-shirts. We've been wearing our T-shirts now for at least a month.
Vote.
Yep, you have to vote. Did you early vote, Leo, or are you going to vote the day of?
I'm going to, but I was actually going to do it today, but I realized that I was uninformed on some of my local issues. I've been so national that I have to read up on some of the housing stuff, so I'll probably turn mine in tomorrow.
Yeah, I always vote the day of. I have never not voted the day of. However, they're saying that the lines are so long everywhere that really people are best advised to try to vote early unless you want to be in line for hours. And the thing is, I don't want to do that day because I worked the night before and I have a lot to do that day. So I think I might go tomorrow. It's like a few blocks from my house, about 7 blocks from my house. I think I might go down there and vote. But then the day of, I might go down and TikTok and film the lines and all that. But it's going to be great. The worst thing you can do is not vote. The worst thing you can do is become apathetic and say, my vote doesn't matter.
Apathetic. Pathetic.
Wow. Vote. Yes, absolutely. So do not be apathetic. Do not be frightened. I mean, I've been very nervous. I'm not going to lie. I can't wait till this thing is over because I really just want to go back and breathe. I haven't really breathed fully. But I will say there's a lot of excitement in the country. People are engaged, and that is democracy right there. People, there's engagement. I was watching, there was like a TikToker interviewing, or maybe it was Nora Johnson or something. She was interviewing all these young people. She goes, raise your hand if it's your first time voting. And like, oh my God, I couldn't believe how many. And I was so excited for them because I remember my first election. So that was really great. And a lot of people, not only is it their first time, but it was their first time at a rally. And I love all these young people being so involved in democracy. That really warms my heart because as a daughter of immigrants, and you are a son of immigrants, the fact that our parents love this country so much and they raised us to love it. And I have nothing but respect for democracy. So please go and vote.
I would like to say that, yes, of immigrants because of this wonderful world that we have created, but for all those wonderful Republicans who are issuing about immigrants, get back on the Nina Pinta and the Santa Maria if you want to go there about immigrants invading country.
Oh, but please, listen, I've been doing this forever. I'm over like the ridiculousness of all of it. Unless you're an American Indian, you came from somewhere else. That is like come on, it's a 101. Exactly. It's a 101. So
and to all my friends, Puerto Rico, my God. Devotion. I walk barefoot in New York, so I can claim I was Latino Puerto Rican because that's what I hear. Only Puerto Ricans can walk barefoot in New York.
Is that
true? That's what I heard. That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Well, anyway, we shout out to Puerto Rico. We love our Puerto Rican friends, and please vote. You can be as mad as you want, but if you don't vote, your voice doesn't matter. Your anger doesn't matter. Your disdain doesn't matter. Your feelings. Your vote is your voice, and just go in and do that, and it'll feel great. And then put your little sticker on and tell everybody you did. Take a picture, post it. What are we going to say? Speaking of
young people, I wanted to remind everybody of our October people this month. Here's the little shot of.
Oh no, wait a minute. That's next year. That's it. You put that away. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Did I reveal too much?
Too much. There's always a reveal. So we are where this is Zach and Braley. It's actually Braley's birthday this week. Happy birthday, Braley. They are away. I believe they're in Mexico. They're in Puerto Vallarta. Celebrating Braley's birthday. I love them. That's Zach and Braley. I work with Zach at the Duplex on Wednesdays. Anyway, they are Mr. and Mr. October for 2024. Leo and I have been working on constructing our 2025 calendar. And oh boy, is there some exciting stuff.
Should we show them the cover?
You design the cover and the back cover.
Let's see.
What? By Lynn Portis and Chauncey Dandridge, Reveal.
Yeah.
Which can be found on all streaming platforms. Reveal by Lynn Portis and Chauncey Dandridge. It's a great song. So let's say hi to some of our people. Lynn Portis says, Reveal. Hi, Linny. Look at the beautiful Senator Mesa has joined us. My girlfriend,
hi, Senator Mesa.
Eudenia Mesa Dominguez. Hello, everybody. Hi, Honey Bunny.
She's rocking on those TikToks. I love her split.
Isn't she amazing
on TikTok?
You want to see some good TikTok? You go and follow YM Grad, GRAD. Judy is a TikToker. She is not joking around. She got a lot of information and she has nothing but opinions, as do I. But she's really got some opinions. You want to, like, sometimes people will say to me, can I ask your opinion? And I always say, I have nothing but opinions. Please do. And well, Judy is the same way. And I think that's one of the reasons we get along so well. And she's really well informed. And go check out YM Grad on TikTok. Rena Cugnali-Berge, my cousin from Massachusetts, fruits and vegetables involved. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Our new apron, which will be ready soon. We're waiting for one more guy, our November guy, Justice LeBrave, who I adore. He's an amazing musician, and I love his songs. I saw him last night. He is going to take his picture. He's Mr. November, and he's going to take his picture in 2 days, and then I'll send it to Leo, and then Leo combs through everything tirelessly.
Every inch
of the picture. Right. And then we'll send it off to Brent. And when do you think they'll be ready, Leo? Like first week in November? Maybe second or third week in November?
I'm thinking, you know what? I'm thinking that if everything goes right, we might be ready by my birthday in the first week of December.
Oh my God, that's exciting. So yes,
I'll have something to fan myself with.
I know. So we're getting our it's going to be good. It's going to be kind of the same size as last year, but better paper. So I'm excited.
Danielle confirms every inch matters.
Well, it's important. Rena, poor Leo. I know he's got such a hard job. I can't believe it. Oh wait, look at what Judy said. I want to be naked on the cover.
How am I going to get you to be senator if you're naked on the cover?
I know, but you don't understand. I mean,
I need you in.
Sexy as all hell. She was Miss October, our first year, 2022, and she was our Miss October. Forever.
And it was I believe it was a tit-bit nipply in that.
Yeah, and she was by her piano. And so, honey, I mean, if you want to be naked on the cover, who's going to stop you? So, go Judy. Danielle goes, go Judy. Danielle, she doesn't need any encouragement. But now that you said go Judy, she'll do it. Okay. Oh, you don't understand. There is no way I can be senator. That ship has sailed. Well, maybe because of the TikToks. You're right.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Let me see what else. Judy says, I've been naked too much in my life. That is true too.
Pictures or it's not true. Pictures or it's not true.
Yeah, well, and happy to encourage, says Danielle. What's going on over there, girls? The L word girls are going at it. Okay, so I just want to show. I got this in the mail today for Rizzo. She will be wearing it election night.
Oh my God!
Is that the cutest thing you've ever seen?
So cute.
It's small. I hope it does fit her. She is a small, but this is a little tiny. I might have to stretch it up, but she's pretty skinny. So she'd be wearing that.
I bet you, if you took that at Stonewall, somebody would try to wear it. I bet
one of the guys would try to wear it. Jesus, one of the twinks.
Tell
anyway,
Chauncey. Put it on, Chauncey.
Chauncey would. Yes, that's Rizzo. She's going to be wearing that. And look what else I got. I have my Kamala action figure.
Oh, that's adorable.
Isn't that cute? Hi, Brian Johnson, my friend from high school. How are you, honey? So that's my Kamala action figure. And I keep this on my mom's altar. It's when we were little, we had a picture of this behind our bed. It's the guardian angel helping the two little girls cross across the bridge. And so this I lit for all those little girls that Kamala will protect, so their rights are protected. So I'm burning the candle with Kamala, the action figure, and my Penzi spices from Penzi is a great PENZEY. Yes, this is a great company that has amazing spices. I sent some to Rena when she was sick a while ago. And I encourage you to go to their website. They are so politically involved in the best way. And their prices are so reasonable. And Kamala visited them when she was in Pennsylvania. And that's the video where you see the woman bursting into tears when Kamala comes over to her. And she says, is everything going to be okay to Kamala? And Kamala hugs her and says, everything's going to be just fine. So Penzi Spices, if you need some great gifts for Christmas or even birthdays, thank you, Leo. I highly recommend this website. They are the nicest people and their prices are so amazing. And they are all about democracy. And lots of times they call things, having to do with, and they have this little, you see this little dog bandana, my friend Kamala on there. And my friend Emily sent me the little dog bandana for Rizzo. I have that as well. So great things happening in the world. Tonight is Castle Circe. Hi, I am the right place for Queen Eileen. Yes, you are. Oh my God, this is so exciting. Okay, so I was talking to Brian Johnson says my wife would love that action figure. Brian, there's a company called, you could just Google action figures. They have all kind of political. I have them. I don't know if you can see on my top shelf back there, and all the way up. I have lots of political action figures. They have this great company. It's called Factory, and they make amazing action figures, and they're not even expensive. I think they're like $20. And so I got one. I ordered a Tim Waltz one. It's on its way. So anyway, love the Penzi spices you sent me, says Rena. Good. Okay. So we wanted to just shout out all our friends. Let me show you my t-shirt again. I got this online. It has the cat in here, the little image of the cat. And then dogs. We love dogs. We love cats. We love Taylor Swift. We love democracy. We love Kamala. We love good things in the world. We love freedom. So, okay.
We love cue cards.
We do love cue cards. Now, I was talking to Katherine Salvio because I was supposed to go down. Judy and I were supposed to go down and visit her this week, but life on life's terms happened, and a couple of things went down, and I had to be in Boston. I don't want to talk about it right now, but had to be in Boston, and so I used up my time for that. But I am going to go visit Katherine soon, Judy and I. However, while I was talking to Katherine, Melanie was down there. Melanie Rock was down there. And she said, you should meet my friend Eileen O'Brien. She is amazing. We worked at NBC together. She worked at Saturday Night Live for years. And she was the cue card girl. And she has a documentary coming out called Cue Card Girl. So we were going to broadcast from Katherine's tonight, but that didn't happen. However, we still have... Melanie is going to join us. Katherine's going to join us in a little while, but we first are bringing in, I had 2 amazing phone conversations with this person, and I love her. She's amazing. Then I watched the documentary, and I was just like, it's enchanting. So without further ado, Leo, are we ready to bring in Eileen O'Brien? What do you think? She's going to be joining it. There she is.
Yay!
Yay is right. Hi, Eileen.
Hey, how you doing, Maria?
I'm doing great. I love your background, Eileen. Is that your house with all those books?
It is my house with all those books, because my husband of 44 years is a writer and a philosopher at heart. He did, during the years that I worked at SNL and NBC, he was the one of the managers of post-production there. So we had the good fortune of being at 30 Rock together.
Wow.
We would meet, in the cafeteria, in the elevators, between jobs and stuff. So he doesn't ever get rid of a book. Well, he has, but this is what's left.
Listen, you're talking to a total, I'm the same way. I don't like to get rid of things. Especially books and things like that are memorabilia.
Yeah, a lot of these are his. Some are mine, but mostly his. I'm more of a magazine gal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like a good magazine. But this right here is a poster from the short that was made about me last year. It was in a number of festivals last year, and so this year we decided to make it public on YouTube so that anyone could see it. And we basically, there she is. That's that crazy woman. What happened is my career had a number of parts. And the first part was I was going to be an elementary school teacher. And long story short, I ended up working at South Carolina ETV, which is a PBS station. That was in 1974. I graduated, and I taught for a year at a free school, what they called a free school. And the couple who put the free school together, he was a director at the PBS station, and I would take my kids over there. And I fell in love with the whole idea of television. Didn't know it even was a job, because we'll talk about this a little bit more, but women of our age, of a certain age, I'm vintage, not old, by the way, much more interesting. we were told, okay, you're either going to become a wife, a nurse, or a teacher. Those were kind of options. So the very idea that there were other jobs out there never even occurred to me. And of course, you know, in the 60s and 70s, we weren't really encouraged to do that. But I fell in love with the idea of TV and ended up pushing my way in. And I was a production secretary for a while, but then I quickly became a camera woman in 75.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the years that you're talking about, Eileen, everything that you've said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you said pushing your way in, but to me, you have to be good at what you do to get in.
Well,
you know?
The truth is, I really didn't know anything about it, but I saw, because when I was the production secretary, I saw what others were doing and I thought I could do that. I joked around with somebody recently because I've been on a bunch of podcasts because of Cue Card Girl. It's been great. Guys, there's Ian. Ian loves comedy. He does a lot of SNL. And then there's Mike Chisholm. He does Letterman, because I also did Letterman, and a bunch of others. And then Castle, who checked in. Castle is my dear friend who also does a podcast on Film Talk Radio for Santa Fe International Film Festival.
Oh, that's so cool.
And she's had me on and my husband on more times than me. How dare he?
Wow. Castle, type in the name of your podcast so we can follow it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I love that.
She's my dear friend that I met actually at the Denver Film Festival, because I did do television production for most of the first half of my career. And then my husband's work took us, sad thing, to the Riviera, to the south of France. And he was marketing, editing, brand new editing equipment, a nonlinear editing. People know it as Avid is the name of the product. Okay. But he was their first marketing person. And then he moved to other companies that did the same thing. And they had us move to the south of France. So we were moved to the south of France in 95. I couldn't work in television production because I didn't speak a word of French. Wow. But on the way across the pond, I stopped in New York and checked out, because I'm from New York originally. So I was seeing relatives and checking things out. And a friend said to me, "Oh, you should meet this guy. He's working the Cannes Film Festival." And I said, "I don't know anything about film festivals." And she said, "Oh, but he's looking for people in general that know how to manage stuff." And I walked into the interview, and it turned out he and I had worked on a TV series 15 years earlier that was a production with Janus Films. Wow. And that's where I met Christopher Reeve, who is highly highlighted in the short film. I love
all of the. I love your short film. It's called Cue Card Girl. Everybody, please. It's 23 minutes long. It's gonna fly by. It is so interesting and fun. And she talks about Christopher Reeves and all these famous people that she worked with, who are just wonderful stories.
Yeah,
wonderful
there we are together. That's the series we worked on called Real Journeys, REEL. Journeys.
Oh, okay.
And we were working on that a month after my husband and I got married. We knew each other about a month before we got married. And then they assigned me to Christopher. This was when we were still in South Carolina. And basically Christopher said, at some point, and just in a very, very charming and not in any kind of an untoward way, "Hey, why don't you hop in my plane?" Because he flew a jet, believe it or not.
I do believe it.
Very adventurous. He flew his own jet, and he said, "And go back to LA with me." And I said, "Well," I just got married. Said, "Well, my girlfriend and I, we kind of have an understanding." I said, "Well, been married long enough to have an understanding, And so he said, "Okay, you're turning me down then." I said, "Yeah." So to this day, 44 years later, Chuck is the man I turned Superman down for.
I love that part of the documentary. I loved it.
Yeah, so it's really fun. And basically, well, my name's Eileen O'Brien, so I have to say it's in my genes that I tell long stories. I used to think that was just me, because I didn't know many of my father's relatives. He was the O'Brien. But years later, my sister-in-law Maureen Brennan, who I adored like a sister, she had a bunch of her Irish relatives come visit her on Long Island, out in Patchogue, right? And I went out to visit them, and they convinced me that after all these years, really, I'm really Irish. I'm half English, half Irish. My mother was British, born in England.
Wow.
Immigrants, right, and came to America right before the stock market crash in '29.
Oh my God! What a great story.
But I didn't know much about my Irish relatives. I was mostly hung out with my mom and her mother, who was, of course, still spoke with an accent and lived in Brooklyn and came here, and after World War One, and it was just a very immigrant story. But when I met my sister-in-laws, she always called them the Irish. The Irish are here visiting. I went, oh my God, I'm really Irish, because I can't help it. I tell stories, and I tell really long stories. And my husband will always say, I get off, and I start on a separate thing, and then I somehow manage.
Well, that's what they mean by the gift of gab, right, Eileen? That's it. They didn't say that for no reason. I mean, there's a good reason.
There's talent there. I don't.
Let me ask you. You had you also talked about. Well, you worked on SNL.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And you said that I really love the part where you talked about Don Rickles being one of the nicest people you worked with. Because we would never have thought that, right?
Right. But see, here's what I always have to explain. There's a really interesting article. Yang, what's his name? He's on the show right now.
Bowen Yang.
That he wrote. And the article is, they still use cue cards at SNL. Why? And he talks about it. Well, it's because of the nature of the show that you have to run around. You're kind of like, you're as close to being on set and being part of the acting team as you can be without actually being there, because you're just supporting them, see?
Right.
So I always have to say to people, movie stars were the hardest. People always say, who was the, most difficult hosts, etc. I don't like to talk trash about people.
Yeah, I agree.
The truth is, the most challenging hosts were those that didn't have either theater or live TV experience. See?
Right.
And Don Rickles grew up in like the era when he was live on TV with everyone. So I just couldn't believe when he walked in and literally got down on his hands and knees and kissed my feet. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell is happening? Right. And basically, when you are the person who's going to save my ass come Saturday night, right? Because he knew live TV. And then what I loved is he would ask.
What year was that, Eileen?
That was, I want to say 84, 85, somewhere in there. Sorry,
So he had been at it for a long time.
He was.
He was a seasoned veteran.
And the sweetest man on earth.
Isn't that great?
Because he was known as Mr. Mean, right? Because his comedy was very mean, but mean in the sense of acerbic, But I learned really fast that, talent and what their talent is has nothing to do with who they are as a person. And that works positively and negatively, if you know what I mean. Some of the most seemingly charming people are not so charming,
I believe it.
I learned it really fast. And
you also work with George Carlin. You were George Carlin's.
Well, before I started on SNL, before I got the job doing cue cards, I was hired because when I first got to New York, I worked for Emil Ardolino. Emil had worked with us in South Carolina on a number of great performances that were a Dance in America. He was a dancer. He went on, he made a documentary called You Make Me Feel Like Dancing that won an Oscar. It was about, I can't remember, it was a guy who taught dancing in New York to kids who, really needed something wonderful in their life. Oh, Jacques D'Amboise was his name. Okay. and he won an Oscar. And then he started directing a lot of dance shows. And so when I was always his pick to be his assistant or his, what they call control room PA, which means you're in the control room with the director during the shoot. So you're taking notes and you're basically their right-hand person.
Wow.
And so when I moved to New York, my first job was Emil gave me my first job. It was William Hurt. It was Shakespeare in the Park, and it was Midsummer Night's Dream, and we shot it for PBS, and we called it Midsummer Night's Wet Dream. Can I say that? I mean, you're not.
Of course.
Okay. So basically, because it rained the entire time, I mean, it poured rain, and we were in what they call a remote truck, meaning that you move it's like a remote control room, right? And it just rained the entire time. And poor William Hurt had a bad back and was miserable. And it was just,
wow.
But because of that, I got offered a couple of other jobs, and one of them was to work for George Carlin on Carlin at Carnegie. So
I love that. That's incredible.
At Carnegie Hall. Okay, that was a trip. Yeah, there he is. Oh my God, I love him so much.
I don't blame you. We all love him, and we didn't even know him. And so
he was the real deal. I always tell people, except for Letterman, he is the best boss I ever had because he was a caring, kind person. And
isn't that nice?
Throughout my career, because we got very close, because his wife was the producer, a brilliant woman named Brenda Carlin, lost her to breast cancer. Very sad. Yeah, very sad. And, but basically I was his assistant in the pre-op, I've been in the hospital with my husband, pre-op instead of pre-production. Anyway, she and I hung out and, took care of him and did what we need to do to get ready for pre-production. But then during production, I was a control room PA, meaning I was in the control room with the director and but George and I got very close because I would go to they had a suite at the what was it, Plaza South, I think was the hotel at the end of Central Park. I'd never been in my whole life. I was raised lower middle class. I'd never been in a 4-star hotel in my life. And basically I would wait in the suite area, which was like an office, till he woke up, because he'd go out every night, because this is 1982. And basically in those days, there was no seeing other comedians on, shows. In fact, he was sort of one of the people who created the idea of the comedy special, HBO. That was and this was, though, a few years after he hosted the first Saturday Night Live. Now, I'm diverting here, but there's a film out right now called Saturday Night that was directed by Jason Reitman, and it's a fictionalization of the first episode of SNL. And I was sort of nervous about seeing it, but I went to see it, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing.
Oh, great, because I did want to see it. Okay, good to know.
No, and and Kathy and Melanie will.
We're going to bring them on any minute.
Yeah, because they were there too, and they were doing the real hard work. They were technical people, and I so admire them both. That's why I'm so happy we're all going to be on together.
Yes, and I am going to bring them on. I do want to, before we do that, Roberta Pacino, who is Catherine's cousin and our friend, she's been on the show. She's an amazing artist, so go and check out Roberta Pacino's page.
Oh, I know Roberta.
Roberta, she's lovely. Roberta Pacino, artist. I have 2 of her pieces. They're great. I love it.
Fabulous. And she lived in Denver when I first moved here. The second time I moved here in 99 and ran the Denver Film Festival. But then in 2006, I came back to be the director of membership and volunteers. And basically she would come, I would have her come every year because there was always a guest.
Yeah.
What's his name? Harry. He was a really good friend of Al's and an actor, Harry. Oh, good Lord. I'll remember it later.
We'll think of it in a minute.
But anyway, I would invite her to come because there would be actors here that she knew Al, you know.
Yeah.
And we got to know each other. I know she moved. I think she's in Washington now, right? Somewhere on the West Coast, I think. But,
yeah, I'm not sure. She may have had to leave now, but she did want to say hello. Now,
okay,
we
hold
are
on.
going.
My battery's dying. Don't you know?
Okay, plug that in. We don't want to lose you.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, good. So Eileen was introduced to me and us, in turn us, because Katherine Salvio, I was having a conversation with her and she said it. And then Melanie happened to be at Katherine's. So we're bringing in Katherine Salvio. There she is, our friend, and Melanie Rock. These are the girls of NBC, ladies and gentlemen.
Rock on.
Let me just, before any of you talk, I want to say this. This is such a big deal because I was talking to Eileen one day and she said, you know, we were doing this as women before women were doing this. So they really were pioneers of TV at NBC before anything like this was really happening. So ladies, a round of applause. Thank you for opening doors that the rest of us could walk through, having jobs and setting high standards and dealing with all that craziness that went with it. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Amen.
Sometimes when I think about the old days, I can't believe, I sometimes tell Melanie, I can't believe all the stuff that used to go on. And it was almost like it was normal.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And now it is a totally different
it's a different world.
problem. Yeah, it's a different world.
Yeah, like the appropriateness and all that. Now, Melanie, what you had lots of different jobs there, right?
Yeah, I started as a commercial coordinator. I used to make sure we had the commercials for Saturday Night Live and that they were broadcast quality. You know, you had to pay for the show.
Yeah.
And then I was very curious about engineering, so they taught me how to read a video signal, and it was off to the stars after that.
Wow.
Into videotape and editing, and I worked in studio for a little bit. Was on the road. I also worked on Letterman's show for 9 years when he was at NBC.
Oh, I love that. Didn't you and Kat also?
Girl.
You were what? Oh, Stupid Pet Tricks.
Yes.
I
was
love
the girl
that.
who did the slow. I did the slow-mo replays.
Slow-mo.
No.
Stupid Pet Tricks.
I love that. Now, Katherine, didn't you and Melanie also do the Olympics? You went and right? Weren't you part of the Olympics one year, right?
That's
92.
right. And everybody who does the Olympics gets an Emmy. It's part of the gig, almost. It's like a given.
You girls have Emmys?
Oh, listen, we have friends. Melanie has 2. I have 1. We have friends that have worked at NBC that have like 27. You know, it's
a big deal.
Yeah, it's a great momentum.
So Melanie, you are the Stupid Pet Tricks slow-mo. You're responsible for the slow-mos, which we all love, right? It's such a big part of everybody's history.
It was hard to do because I'm laughing so hard. And you know, when you laugh hard, what happens? And I'm trying to do, it was all done manually by hand.
Oh my God.
And I'm laughing and I'm, slow-mo with the tape. Oh my God. I had so much fun. It was the best job I ever had. It really was wonderful.
Bet. And you did the slow-mo in sports too, as Katherine is telling us now.
Well, that's where it came from. Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Totally.
That's so cool. And Kat, and you worked in the video department, right?
Right. I was videotape. Yeah.
And you worked on editing and all that stuff. And
well, Melanie was the editor. Melanie was the best female engineer in NBC. She was there in the 70s, in the late 70s, and she really was one of the best. That's why they took her on the road to do sports, and she was really good at that. I just, I can't explain it. Compared to Melanie, I would call maintenance to set up my machines. Melanie knew how to do all the plugs and I can't even cables, and she was a roadie.
You sell yourself short, girl.
I know. Thank you, Eileen.
Yeah, because here's the deal. in those days, okay, people don't understand how hard it was to be a woman in these positions. I have been on like 9 million panels, because when you work in film festivals, which is the last part of my career, they throw these panels together, women in film. And I was constantly running into this situation where the younger generation would say to me, "Oh, there's just no sexism. I don't understand what you guys are bitching about," And I went, "Oh, really?" And so I'd start to ask them questions, like often it was little actresses that would kind of say, not little, but, younger actresses. And I'd say, "Tell me about your first role and what you had to do to get it." And if you dig deep enough, you would find that absolutely, as we found out with the Me Too movement, there was still so much of that going on. But in our day, as Kathy said earlier, we didn't even get to talk about it. If you had something happen, which 90% of the time there was something going down, because one, we were where that we'd never been before. And so a lot of the guys were not happy. And then two, it was like, basically a lot of people wanted to see women fail. So you were
wow, that's intense.
So if you push through like both of these women did, and you did the job and you kept on doing it regardless, to me, you deserve, talk about an Emmy, you deserve a, Peace Prize, a Nobel Peace Prize, because we were in a time when you could, if you complained, you were fired. It was that simple. If somebody, I won't go into details, but I had a guest host that actually, while we were live, grabbed both my breasts and said, "Hey, baby, what's going on?" And I turned and said, "What do you think you're doing?" And he went, "What are you going to do about it?" And I said, "Nothing," because of course I knew. Wow. And I said, "But just get your damn hands off of me,"
Wow.
And I had to just go on as if nothing happened. I recently told my husband this story and he got very upset because I never told it to anybody. Because I knew that if I ever said anything, I would be fired immediately.
Isn't that something? Wow.
So it's like, not only were we trying so hard to be extra specially good at what we do, which it sounds like these two were. I mean, I wasn't in their department, but I watched them from a distance. And my husband actually worked with them. So that's
how great.
We know each other, right?
Her husband was a director in my department.
Yeah.
How wonderful. So you're all connected.
Yes, we are. And that's how we're friends.
Downstairs, have cocktails in Rockefeller Center and watch the Spectators. I wish we could go back just one more time, right, Eileen?
Yeah, no kidding. Time travel, baby.
I love that. I love that.
But this is the thing. I mean, and I tell people this, I was the only woman on the floor of SNL and Letterman, okay, as a crew person. There were lots of women, especially on Letterman. Letterman was very, very supportive of women, and all of the women behind,
that's so nice to know.
Yeah, all of the people behind the scenes, almost all were women and still are, Jude Brennan, she was his producer. Jude Brennan, and then Barbara Gaines, is that her name? She started, she was a PA, and so was Jude when I started, because I did Letterman on Monday through Wednesday, and then I did SNL from Thursday to Saturday. I worked all week, and Letterman was the one that I did where I was sort of a backup, because Kevin Kay, who owned the company, he owned Video Q, and Kevin went on to become the president of Paramount Pictures, Paramount TV. He's the guy who greenlit Yellowstone. Yeah, so
that's wild.
He started as owning this company, but he did Letterman for the first, I'd say, 5 or 6 years. And then I was his backup, because if you needed two people, I would be the backup. See, so I worked for Letterman all those years too.
And he was a nice guy, right?
He was the best.
Great.
He was
everybody. All three of you
Melanie-
have said that.
Melanie worked on the show too, and she loved it. He had the best Christmas parties, right?
Yeah,
Really?
Oh my God. He had the best anniversary parties, the best Christmas parties,
really good
and the best
stuff.
gifts. He'd give everybody gifts, wonderful
Oh.
gifts for Christmas.
I know.
Paul
he was
Schaefer
great.
also would give out gifts to everybody. Beautiful
It's
boxes
so
of
nice to
chocolates.
know. What great.
They were
that's so-
great. And Letterman is one of the few people in the business that ever stood up for me, in the sense of if somebody was abusive, and there was a lot of abuse in terms of cue cards. Because I always joke, you know how it's a bad old joke, but they say first you beat your wife, and then you beat the kids, and then you kick the dog. You know, there was this joke. And I always said to people, cue cards were like the dog, because when they couldn't blame anybody else, they'd go down the line, oh, it was the director, oh, it was the, and then they say, no, it was the cue card person, which is it's crazy, but people get really emotional and, tense. So they look for excuses, right? And so I would get abused quite a bit, where someone would blame me for something. And Letterman would always say, who do you think you are? Don't say that to her.
Good. I love that.
Don't treat her that way. Yeah. He would say, she doesn't deserve to be treated that way. Stop it, And yeah, he and, like I said, him and George Carlin were two of the best men I ever worked for. I worked for a lot of great women. I had some really great mentors in my life, not the least of which Nicole Guillemette, who was the director of Sundance for 17 years. And I worked Sundance for 5 years. And, there were some great women, but as far as the men are concerned, it was Letterman and George Carlin and my husband, of course.
Of course.
But
That's
I
so
only
great.
worked with him when we first got married. We worked on a couple of projects together, and he was the editor, and I was like the assistant to the producer or director, and we worked together. But we didn't do that for long. That was about like 2 or 3 projects, and that was it. But of course,
wow. So speaking of great men, because I am a person that I'm a huge feminist, of course, but I also love it when I hear great stories about great men, because I'm also a human being, and and so right now, as you're telling all these great stories, my friend Diane Cairns, who I went to high school with, she says, Maria, we're watching you with my dad. Now, her dad is wonderful. He's in his 90s, I think, or is 90. He's a huge fan of Kamala's too.
Yeah.
And he said she did great tonight.
Yeah,
it's a home stretch, baby. So yes, to your dad, I give him a big hug.
Look.
We grew up together. How beautiful is that? Oh, you have your Kamala. I love that.
So I did a phone bank on Sunday in Denver, and I called hundreds of people in Arizona, because that's apparently
state.
Colorado's good.
Yeah.
And guess who showed up at our phone bank in like Lakewood, Colorado? Jane Fonda.
How
She showed up out of the blue.
How
She
great.
was apparently in the state, and somebody said to her, one of the girls that works there knew her and said, you should come. And she came, and she gave this amazing speech. I cannot tell you. It was just
I hate to sound superficial, but how did she look? She's amazing to me.
She looked fabulous.
She's in her 80s.
I know. I thought, please
Like
God,
84?
let me get some of that. Yeah.
Barbara Streisand is 80. I mean, look at all these amazing women. They're not playing around, and they've seen some stuff. I got to tell you something. Over the years, I worked with some famous people, but I also was in the bar business, and I waited on a lot of famous people. Right. But I got to tell you, it's very rare that I'm starstruck. There are times when like Al Pacino, of course, I worked with Al, and then I got to meet him, and I wanted to just eat him. He's so beautiful.
Yeah, he's a gaga kind of guy.
Yeah, he's just great. But I got to tell you, the most starstruck I ever was, I was walking down 23rd Street, and walking towards me, I couldn't even open my mouth to say anything, was Gloria Steinem.
Oh, I have a great story about
yes,
her.
and that is one time in my life where I literally almost started crying, because I was like, that woman changed my life. She changed all our lives.
Yes.
And she is still trying to change it.
That's
And
right.
so we cannot forget these people that stuck their necks out for us.
Stuck their necks out. You know, she was a guest here in Denver with the Women's Foundation, and I was invited to go. And I got to meet her, and I said to her, because I had just been on one of these panels, you know, and I said to her, this was probably 10 years ago, 10, 15 years, it's a while. And I said, I am so frustrated with some young women who I talk to, and they just don't want to hear about what we've been through and what we did to get you where you are today. And she said, listen to me very carefully. People do not want to hear history. It doesn't ring true to them. But when it touches their lives, it will make a difference.
Wow.
So just speak, be calm, be patient, and don't worry. All of them will come to a point, and here we are with Roe v. Wade. They'll all come to a point where something will happen and it will affect their personal lives, and they will be feminists.
You know what? You just gave me chills, because that's exactly what has happened.
That's right.
All right, we're going to take a quick break because we got to do the food section of our show. We have a food section of our show, Eileen. I don't know if you know that. I always cook for the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, that was
yes, I have to stay creative. I have to stay creative. So, the name of the name of the section of the show is called "Go Ahead, Keep Eating." So, on the count of one, we go 1, 2, 3. We'll say it all together. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, keep eating. All right. So, what did I make tonight?
What did you make?
Oh my! Look at that plating. Look at that plating. I made shrimp marinated in Marsala wine, lemon, garlic, onion, truffle salt, butter, and basil. So I marinated in that for about maybe an hour, and then I cooked it over some scallions, orange, because I want to do like a fall color, orange peppers, and peas. Italians love peas. So there is Italians love peas. I don't know what it is. And this is in my mother's plate that she gave me many, many years ago. So my mother was a huge feminist. She was a Democrat, and she never missed an election. So, Ma, this plate is for you tonight.
This plate is for your mom. Oh, yep. I love it.
She loved it. She from Italy, and she never missed an election. The last one, she voted for Obama. She went in her wheelchair.
Oh my God.
And my dad said, you can skip this one. And she said, no, I'm going to vote. And she loved it. She's so cute.
God bless her.
This is my salad. It's romaine lettuce, purple onion, purple for Tim Waltz, because he's from Minnesota. And then baby cucumbers and blueberries. I've been doing something blue every week. Blueberries, and I'm going to put a blackberry ginger vinaigrette on that with, yes, that is going to be a nice fall, crisp, delicious. And I might put some truffle salt on this too. I love truffle salt. And then for dessert, we are having,
and that says in a blue bowl.
It is fall. This is an apple for the Big Apple, because you girls all worked in the Big Apple.
Yeah.
And these are fall sprinkles over caramel. So that is on my blue plate.
Wow.
For Vote Blue. Everything has a theme in my life. There's a reason for everything.
There is.
Annette Zito, who's a chef, says, I am the salad queen. Thank you. From you, Annette. Annette has a little YouTube channel called Kitsch Annette, and she cooks on it. She's great. Okay. Now,
and that is one of our first pre-orders for your calendar, by the way.
Oh my God, Annette. So speaking of pre-orders, we have a calendar. In case you don't know, we have a calendar called the Nothing But the Apron calendar. And what it is because we have aprons that we sell, are people that volunteer, because my sister said only you could get people to take their clothes off for no money. I said, I do not force anybody to take. People come to me and say, I'd like to be in your calendar. So we have all our calendar people. Leo is combing through painfully. I know he's sweating, going through all these photos of people. And we're going to be ready very soon. Everybody's in. And it's 12 months, and we have lots of hot people. That's from this year. There we go. And they're all people that have been on the show in some way or another. So that's what's happening, and it should be available in about 3 weeks. If you want to pre-order, you're welcome to. And where can they do that, Leo? They can do that at What's the Story with Maria?
What's the Story with Maria.com.
Okay. All right.
Eileen, it was wonderful seeing you, sweetheart. Give my love to Chuck.
Don't leave yet, though. I want to talk about Katherine right now is a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Oh,
Leo, can you put that up if possible? So
Let me see if I can find some.
if you are in the Vero Beach, I think she put it in our Facebook Messenger chat. If you are in the, I'll let you tell it, Katherine. How can they find you, and where do you sell and houses?
I now have two telephone numbers. My New York number 917-325-0900 if you're coming to Indian River County at all, and I have a new number. But use the New York number and call me if you want to come down here. It's really wonderful paradise, and there are wonderful people here, and it's not ugly, believe me. It's
Yeah, no, I know. It's beautiful down there.
Yeah.
Vero Beach is beautiful, so they should reach out to you if they want to buy some property.
That's right. That's right. Thank
Were
you.
you there? You were somewhere else and then you moved there, right, Kath?
Yeah, I was further south. I was down in the Boynton Beach area.
And Melanie, you're in North Carolina,
area
right?
and fell in love with it, right?
No, I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina, which is beautiful. Oh, good. So you didn't get hit by that big storm.
No, thank goodness. No.
Oh, thank God.
So
Me
Mel,
neither.
you're in on the coast, right?
I'm in Bluffton, just a couple of minutes from
Yeah.
Hilton Head.
Right,
Yeah.
right near Hilton
Wow.
Head and near Savannah. Yeah, because I you know,
Yes.
I ran the Savannah Film Festival for a while, so I used to
Wonderful.
drive through there to go to Charleston to see my family in Charleston. So
Wow.
Uh-huh.
yeah, I know that exactly where you are. Hey, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So Melanie,
Nothing dirty, Eileen.
no,
Nothing dirty.
I know. You ruin all my fun. Melanie, how did you start out in the business? What took you to NBC? What was your path there?
Well, I wanted to go to college,
Mm-hmm.
and my family didn't really have the money, so I figured let me work a couple of years and I'll put myself through college.
Ah,
And I had a cousin who was working in the personnel department, and I said, "Are they looking for anybody?" And they were looking for secretaries.
of
Mm.
course.
So as long as I could type, that's how I got in. And
Yeah.
I started in the videotape library, which was right next to the engineering room, tape room. And that's how I got started. You know, I
Oh
made
my
friends with all the engineers there, and they taught me the ropes.
Yeah.
Every one of your stories has a similar through line, and that is get your foot in the door.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's all you have to do.
Every one of those stories, it's like I started out doing this, and then
Right.
people got to know me, and then this, and then it is so important, and it's a lost art of getting your foot in the door. I lots of times feel, and not to blame the kids, but life has gotten easier in many ways because of computers and the internet.
And harder.
And harder, right, to
Yeah.
connect to other human beings. But just start somewhere. Go
Yeah.
somewhere. Let people know who you are. And work ethic is so important.
Yeah.
When you show up for a job, no matter how big or small you think that job is, bring your best self to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's really important. Now, I can't believe it. This hour has flown by. We've come to the end of our show, but I want to go around, and I want this show is followed by and watched and listened to by other creative people. This is a show about creativity and staying creative. So I would like you all. Hi, Sean Patrick. Sean Patrick is an amazing singer, and he just popped in. He's going to be on our calendar. Diane Karen says another great show. Hugs and blessings. Thank you. What about the baked beans? I'll have those one of these nights. I love baked beans. But I know people are popping things on. I want each of you to go around and give some words of encouragement. If someone that is creative is stuck and they need some encouragement, what words would you give them? Let's start with Eileen.
So, I actually have an endowment in my name that was raised when I retired from the Denver Film Society. And, it gives scholarships to young people who want to work in the film and television industry. And I'm going to have actually 6 young college students I'm going to meet this Friday who are been given scholarships to go to the film festival. And so I'm often in the position of sort of encouraging and supporting young people. The 2 people that made the short film were 2 of the students I scholarshiped like 15 years ago.
Oh,
So
I
one
love
of the
that.
things, yeah, it's just been amazing. So one of the things I often say to young people is that here I am at 73. And the one
Me too.
thing that
I
what?
agree.
What'd you
I'm
say?
70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 72. I'm 72. Sorry, I added a year. I don't know why.
Okay.
I do that all the time.
So basically, I say to them, when you come to this place in your life, you look back, and what you want to do is you want to own your own life. And you want to be in charge of your own life. It's very hard to do. I understand it. You have to have support and people behind you. But if you, underneath it all, know what it is you need and want to do, own that and work with that and believe in it, and you will come out the other side somehow. People will show up for you when you are really, strongly in ownership of your own life. And I have to say that I look back, I've had the most amazing life. A lot of it has to do with the support of my husband. I have to say, I always say he was the patron of my art, and there's really a lot to be said for having a patron of your art. But underneath that, you have to really have a strong sense of, this is what I want to be and who I want to be and how I want to be. And if you do that, I said to a lot of my young students, people will find you and will encourage you and help you. So
I love that.
That's what I believe in.
Okay, Katherine, what words of encouragement would you leave our creatives?
Just keep growing and learning, and it just keeps you young and keep on going. And I'm a little older than Eileen. I just realized I'm 73 now, and I was helping my neighbor move stuff out of my garage. I could get my floor done in the garage, and carrying stuff. I said, 73, I'm still going.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm still active. I think it keeps you young.
Absolutely. And you're always moving. I love that. I love that. Melanie, what would you like to leave us with, my friend?
Well, there is that old cliche, it's not what you know, it's who you know in the business, which does help a lot of people.
Yeah.
But from my experience, you got to take chances. Go there, show up, give them your name. If they don't take you the first time, keep coming back.
Yeah.
Get the ear of somebody's advice from anybody. I mean, there's so many people that have retired. I mean, just, keep at it and you'll get in. You just got to work for it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, you're all so inspiring. This was a perfect show for a perfect night. A week from tonight is the election. You can vote early if you like. Most places you can vote early. Please go and do that. Whatever you do, don't skip it. Yes, Leo has his vote shirt on. I have my Harris Walsh shirt on. Eileen is showing her Harris Walsh. Rizzo, my dog, I bought her this little Harris Walsh. She'll be wearing it next week. This will look cute on Coco too. Your little dog. And I can't thank you enough. This was so wonderful. And you know what? I feel like we have to do part 2, okay? Because we couldn't cover everything tonight. So please, let's make a plan for you, the 3 of you, to come back and tell more stories. Hi, Coco.
Oh,
okay,
I love you, ladies.
We love you,
and
girls.
Leo.
And Leo's the best. Where would we be without Leo?
I love you, cat baby.
Go,
Thank you all.
The Yankees are leading, by the way.
By 1 in the top of the 6th.
Okay, all right. Yay. Oh, she's got her
Yankees.
Santo Fernando, Santo Fernando, Santo Fernando, Santo Fernando. Ayúdame, por favor. Santo Fernando.
All right,
have a-
everybody. We'll see you next week. Come back and see us every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We love and appreciate you. Good night.
Mwah.
Thanks for having me.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you. What a
Thank you.
blast.